Hey everyone, welcome to Chapter 9 of the Human Resource Management textbook. This one's going to be a little bit longer, so I just want to forewarn you right off the bat. This one's probably going to be about 25 to 30 minutes. It's a really important chapter, really important topic. It's all about creating and maintaining high performance organizations, right? These are organizations that make full use of their resources and opportunities to drive success, achieve their goals primarily through systems. We want to make sure when we're looking at this, we think about it. Each element of the system fits together. Again, one of the things I want you to think about through this whole chapter is what does a high performance mean to you? What does a high performance organization mean to you? Do you work in a high performance organization or are you searching for a high performance organization? What does that mean to you? So, let's go ahead and get started. So, the foundation of high performance. Basically, in a high performance work system, all elements work together people, technology, the organizational structure, all working in unison to make sure that each component aligns with others to create this smooth functioning system that drives results, right? Again, the foundation is all about, once again, things working together in collaboration. This is why you'll see, if some of you are already working, you'll see that in a high performance organization, marketing doesn't just work with marketing, marketing also works with finance and accounting. And they also work with supply chain. Supply chain works with sales. Finance works with everybody. Accounting works with everybody in unison to make sure things get done. Here are the five elements. So the first one is organizational. How organizational structure, how the organization groups people into divisions, departments, and reporting relationships. Task design. This is where HR has a pretty big impact on the organization. Task design, how activities are grouped into jobs and team responsibilities. People, I always say, hire the right person, put them on the right seat, on the right bus, right? So we hire the right people, well suited and prepared to get to work and contribute. Okay. And then a reward system. Are we rewarding people effectively? Again, one of the things that you should always think about when you're thinking about rewards, not everybody wants to be rewarded the same way. Some people want time off, right? So they want autonomy. Some people want mastery. They want to learn new skills. That's a reward to them. Some people want money. That's real, right? And so what you need to understand is there's differentiation when you think of reward systems. You have to think about what do my people want? Not everybody wants the same thing, and not everybody wants what I want. That was a mistake that I used to make. I used to make that mistake thinking everybody wants the same thing that I want as a manager. And so that's what I would do. Come to find out, no, some people wanted other things. And so this is a really important one. I mean, extremely important one on how you can encourage people to perform at a high level. And then finally, information systems, right? We need technology to achieve our goals. Here's how we measure success. This is or the pathway through success. If you look at this, it starts with here with people doing interesting jobs, right? Interesting jobs equals satisfied workers. Satisfied workers equals low absenteeism. Lower absenteeism equals lower costs. Lower costs equals higher profits. Satisfied workers also create satisfied customers and then higher sales and then higher profits. It also works up from the bottom. Knowledge sharing, people working in collaboration creates innovation, right? Innovation creates higher quality. Higher quality creates satisfied customers. Innovation creates satisfied customers. Knowledge sharing creates greater productivity. Greater productivity creates higher profits. All of these things lead, all of these areas, low turnover, creates again satisfied workers creates low turnover. Low turnover creates lower costs. Lower costs, higher profits. This little green area here is where we always want to be operating. We want to create high quality, satisfied customers, higher sales, which equals higher profits. So this is kind of how this map works. And when we're thinking about measuring success, we really want to think about what I see is four key elements: lower costs, low turnover, higher profits, and greater productivity. How do we build high performance, or what are the core characteristics of high performance, or sorry, building high performance core characteristics? First of all, teams perform the work. There's a great book, uh, and it talks about the manager kind of getting to a space where you kind of sit in the balcony, right? On the balcony and watch your people. Let your people do work, right? Let you give the work to the people. Give the work to the people. And it's really all about letting them do, right? Letting them succeed and fail, right? And work together as a collaborative team, right? We also need to think about, when we're thinking about core characteristics of a high performance, right? We've got teams perform work. Diversity, equity, inclusion is not just a fad, right? Diversity, equity, and inclusion is a key characteristic to a high performing team or a high performing organization. Employee participation, employees have to be engaged in the work they do. Performance feedback. How are we making sure that people are doing what they're supposed to do? Giving them effective feedback, giving them timely feedback, not once a year, not like uh, uh, our normal performance feedback sessions that we do once a year for HR. No, on a daily, weekly, monthly basis, a manager is telling their staff, "Hey, here's what's going right. Here's what we could do differently. What can we shift in this?" Right? Ongoing formal feedback. Okay. Training emphasis, right? We got to make sure everybody's trained up for what they need to do, and then align compensation. Rewards relate to company's financial performance. If the company's doing well, not just the CEO, CFO, the C-suite shouldn't be the only ones being rewarded for this. Everybody needs to be rewarded, because again, it's typically going to be the teams at the lower levels who are driving success. uh, Design, empowering through design. And design is really important, right? Work design principles, there's five key components, right? Equipment and process structures for maximum flexibility, right? So design is all about being flexible, being adaptable. Technology encourages employee interaction. The more technology you have, but we are a mastery people, right? We want to master things. It's the same. It's the reason why people play the guitar. It's the reason why people try new things and fail a lot and then succeed. When they finally succeed, they feel an overwhelming sense of accomplishment, right? So learning new technology and creating new technology encourages employees to interact more. It also use a variety of skills to develop and utilize new technology. Another thing is workers understand their contribution to the finished products. And then ethical behavior is encouraged throughout. These are the work design principles, right? These are work design principles. Okay. And we're going to talk a little bit more about the last one. Um, Being a learning organization. This is critical, right? Every high performing organization, every successful organization, first and foremost focuses on continuous learning. Everybody should be learning new skills. Everybody should be working outside of the box when they're working. And so it really does. Most people are lifelong learners. They want to continuously learn and improve and master. And so it's really important that an organization supports this. It's also important that there's knowledge sharing. People who know one thing should share with people who do not know that one thing. Again, this is where, working in silos just doesn't work in high performing teams and high performing organizations. There cannot be silos. information needs to flow freely. And so that's really important. And then I will tell you this, every employer that I work with specifically talks about how they're looking for students, how they're looking for graduates, how they're looking for people who are critical thinkers, right? Uh, right? Systematic thinking is widespread with culture that rewards learning and encourages experimentation. Critical thinking, an eye for critical thinking, being able to look past what's just in front of you and think about, what are potential outcomes, what are potential downfalls to an idea. Really looking outside of the box is a key skill to have. Employee engagement. I mean, this is pretty obvious. It's without engaged employees, you do not have success, right? Key concepts: employee engagement, the degree to which employees are fully involved in work, right? Are they aligned with the brand? This is why I always talk about to my students and to just people that I'm working with looking for jobs. Ideally, find a company that aligns with your deeper purpose. I'm not saying you have to be passionate about it. I don't even like the word passion, but what I do like is this mindset of my deeper purpose is this, your the company's deeper purpose is this, and we are aligned. Brand alignment, okay? And so, from an HR policy, this is ensuring that HR policies, practices, and programs support and are congruent with the brand, right? So HR, whatever that brand is, whatever those deeper purposes are, HR is aligned with that brand, aligned with that deeper purpose to make sure that they're building teams that are aligned with it, that they're implementing policies that are aligned with it. And so, again, if you have a company that's singularly focused on the environment, the the HR department needs to think about how we align environmental practices with HR policies and with hiring policies. And then occupational intimacy. I love this. I love this term. This is when passionate workers are fully engaged and the company becomes part of their identity. When people ask me what I do, I don't say what I do. I say where I do it. I say I work at Point Loma Nazarene University, and it is Nick Wolf and Point Loma University, they are synonymous with one another, right? I am bought into PLNU, and I believe PLNU, after the last 14 years, is bought into me. This idea of occupational intimacy. If you can get to that point, again, forget passion. I'm not, I wouldn't say I'm passionate about the work I do, but I love the work I do. I love the help that I provide to our students. I love teaching, and Point Loma affords me to do all those things. And so think about when you're looking for your next job, or if you think about your current job, are you in love with the work you do, right? Are you in love with the company that you work for? This is another big one, right? That a lot of people, it's just kind of, it when you see it. Ethical companies, you can look at Volkswagens, the Wells Fargos of the world, the Nestle's of the world, the Enrons, the Arthur Andersons back in the day. What companies truly represent uh, true business ethics, right? And so, one of the things you'll see, and one of the things that I ask, if I'm talking to companies, I ask them, tell me about your ethical policies. Tell me about your, ethical principles. Do you have a written code? Is it reinforced, right? Is it part of your performance measures? Again, if I need to sell something to a client and maybe I'm selling something that's it's not that they don't need it, but maybe it's last year's, but I'm selling it as this year's, and and I'll give them a discount, and I need to make this sale because bonuses are coming at the end of the quarter, and I've got to make my numbers for the quarter. Am I willing to forego not only my personal ethics, but also the company's ethics in order to make that sale, whatever that is? And so, do we need to measure performance uh, with ethics, business ethics taken into account, right? And then support channels. Employees need to be able to report. There needs to be a reporting system for ethical issues, right? If you see something, say something. See something, say something. And that's a big part of HR. HR needs to be in the process of that. Okay. So we've got a written code. We reinforce that. We conduct training on what business that's, what company ethics look like. We have a support channel where performance is measured based on ethics, not just revenues, but how ethically your department, how ethically you are performing as a manager. And then again, training. We have to have extensive training on what this looks like from our perspective as a company. This is the strategic contribution that HR management makes, right? There's really four key things that we do, right? We design jobs, okay? Managers are help in that function, but primarily HR is the experts when it's coming to job design, right? So we need to allow organizations to benefit from teamwork, employee empowerment effectively, and we do that through one, designing the right job for the right department. Recruitment and selection. We need to find the right people for that job, right? And we do that. We do that by screening viable applicants, by interviewing, by partnering, becoming an effective partner with hiring managers to make sure we're both on the same page. So we're again putting the right person in the right seat on the right bus. Okay. We need to train, right? We need to train well. We need to create training programs in partnership with the manager. Okay. Manager really has the greatest insight. At the beginning of this class, I told you a lot of this is not just related to HR. A lot of this, if you're a manager not thinking about going into HR, a lot of this you're going to do. You're going to help train. You're going to help design jobs. You're going to help recruit. You're going to be a part of, obviously, part of the selection process. And then the last one is the performance management. And I'm not talking about just the yearly. Again, make sure you do your performance management plan and your goals, set your goals. No, it really should be about the manager doing this on a daily, weekly, monthly basis, but then HR coming in and defining the measures of performance, right? Helping to define those measures of performance. So HR is no longer should no longer be a barrier, should no longer be a burden to an organization. We are strategic business partners. That's a lot of titles now are that business partner, people and culture. And so again, we create job design, right? We help create the jobs. We design jobs, we recruit and select, we train employees, and we really come up with a lot of the key metrics for performance management. Uh, Performance is a process. Employee performance is a continuous process. It requires alignment with HR practices and with organizational goals, customer satisfaction measures, and quality standards. So, first, we match goals, right? HRM, the HR management process, practices aligned with the organizational objectives. We measure quality, we share knowledge, and we monitor satisfaction, right? So performance itself is a process. Again, at the beginning of this chapter, I said it's all about systems and processes. Okay. So match goals, measure quality, share knowledge, monitor satisfaction, right? I want you to really think about how does your organization measure the effectiveness of its performance management? For me, it was a waste of time for me. I literally almost never did my yearly review because to me, it just didn't matter. Give me my 3% raise, and that was it. I started working for a boss who would literally step into my office every day and say, he'd ask me two questions. What are your priorities this week, Nick? And how can I support you? What are your priorities this week? How can I support you? You can also ask, you know, what was your near term love loathe, right? What did you enjoy about last week? What work did you do that you enjoyed last week? What are you doing this week, right? What are you anticipating to do this week? How can I support you? Stuff like that. right? You want to ask questions of your staff and then figure out does their do their goals match with yours? Are they doing what they're supposed to be doing? And you can gain a lot understanding performance based on what your employees' goals are, as opposed to your organization's goals. Do they align or not? Right? And then the measure, and then monitoring it. The monitoring comes on that weekly basis, where as a manager, you're asking questions. Technology. Nowadays, everything is done. If you work in right, you're doing your own stuff in Workday, or you're using PeopleSoft, or you're using SAP, right? Transaction processing, all that stuff can be done through technology. Everybody's got a dashboard now that you, as an employee, can go in, log in, request time off. You can look and see what your pay is. You can look at your PTO balance, right? Uh, these systems also help managers solve problems, right? They do a lot of what if scenario. If I hire six new people, what does that look like from a payroll for me? If I decide to cut people, what does that look like for a payroll for me? And so these are particularly Workday, PeopleSoft. These are complex HRM systems that help companies grow and help companies perform at the highest levels. I think about, we use Workday at Point Loma, and I can log into Workday and I can find out just about anything about anybody in the organization, from hey, who are they reporting to? How can I get in contact with? What's their reporting system? How do they align with what I'm trying to do? Is that somebody that I can help support? I can look at my PTO. I can look at, my pay. I can change my benefits. I can change my withholdings. I can change my retirement planning right there through my own personal dashboard. This just creates so much more effectiveness and efficiency. Effectiveness and efficiency, allowing employees to kind of manage their own dashboards. Again, this is the HR system, right? Relational databases. Here are the HR dashboards, display in HR related indicators, and then cloud computing, right? So this is what a typical HR dashboard might look like. Okay, total employees, total attendance, right? You can look at how many people are missing work, how many people have called in, how many people are taking vacation at a certain time. Can we start to plan? Now we see people start taking kind of vacation on consistent basis. Are more people calling in sick? What might that mean for an organization? Do we need to be aware of things, right? You can find out a lot about what people do through this, right? We're not, monitoring you, but it helps us plan, right? If we see that more people go out in December and we have projects coming up, maybe we don't want to do those in December, right? And so it's just, we can see, also track who has what skills, right? We need somebody with, database management and Tableau experience. We've got people, we've hired people, and they're in our system. We can keep a skills log of who has what skills. And then when somebody's out, we can plug that person in. So again, we are moving into a space now, and we haven't even talked about incorporating AI into this, right? We start to incorporate AI into this, and now we're talking about, we really have a great database that we can look at to see how we can potentially fill gaps and make us more effective. Social media, right? EHR management, social media, right? The benefits: improves HRM effectiveness, maintains privacy on the intranet, includes social media applications, right? Employees access information on demand, reduces need to contact HR staff, right? Again, if I can access stuff on my own as an employee, then I don't need to bug HR, and they can do what they need to do. And then I can find out information without having to wait for an email return. This is just, I mean, it's basic. The more innovation we have, the more technology we have, particularly when it comes to managing people's, again, work schedules or payroll or time off or skills or training. It can all be done through here. And finally, measuring the effectiveness of HR management systems, right? So, a lot of companies, first and foremost, do a lot of HR audits, right? Formal review of functions, outcomes, including staffing, compensation, benefits, training, and development, right? We go in and we audit, say, here's what we're doing. How did we do this over the last year? We do an audit over the last quarter. We do an audit over the last 2 years, 5 years, however long we want to do, and see if what we're doing is really creating a more high performing organization. HR analytics, right? Measuring program success in terms of objectives. So again, it's not just other employees that are set to a standard. HR is set to a standard. Are we meeting those standards? Three, the economic approach to measuring. Are we spending money effectively? What is the value, the dollar value of program costs and benefits to our whatever rate of return we've decided on, right? Is it revenues? Is it profits? Is it gross margin? Is it turnover rate? Whatever it is, we look at it from an economic perspective. Is HR an economic weight or an economic benefit, right? Are we dragging down uh, profits or are we increasing, helping to increase profits? And then finally, network analysis measures communication patterns, who's communicating with whom and how often. Is there a free flow of organizations? So, one of the things I want you to think about, what metrics would be best demonstrated, right, in an HR department? What are the metrics that you think HR should be held to? So that was quick, folks. That was chapter 9. Make sure you read it still. There's some good stuff in there. And so I appreciate you hanging tight.